Buff fans, it is time for another position preview, and we're going to talk about the outside linebackers today. But before I get started with that, I just want to talk about something from the previous video where I talked about the defensive line and talked about the defensive tackles and ends in that video. And there were a lot of comments from people that said I forgot about Jordan Dominic and Derek McClendon. I didn't forget about them, but what I'm doing with these previews and how I'm picking the positions is based off the roster that Colorado gave me, and they do list both of those guys at outside linebackers. So I'm going to talk about them right now, about the outside linebackers, and I agree with many of the comments. Those two guys could be at end. They definitely could have been a part of that last video. They are going to have their hand in the ground at some points. They're probably going to be standing up at an outside linebacker type at some points as well. The sentiment doesn't change. Those two guys are both going to be dominant guys for this defense. So let's get right to it, starting with Jordan Dominic, who is the transfer from Arkansas, played at Georgia Tech early in his career. He had 7.5 sacks last year, tied for 4th in the SEC, almost as many as Colorado had last year. The Buffs were last in the country with 9 sacks as a team. Jordan Dominic was 7.5 last year. I don't know if he'll reach that number or not, but I think he's their top pass rusher. He's going to be a huge key to this defense. And then you have Derek McClendon, who comes from Florida State. He's a guy that has been productive for the Seminoles. 3.5 sacks last year. He had 7 sacks in his career at Florida State. I think it was 38 games he played at FSU. So he's a guy that can definitely get after it, make some plays in the backfield. I think those are your top 2 guys there. Then you have a couple other transfers coming from the lower levels. D.V. Harris coming from Old Dominion, as well as Kyrie Mans coming from Maine. Both of those guys obviously looking for bigger roles and to prove themselves at the higher level. They were productive at their previous stops. I think they can be productive here. If nothing else, they provide really good depth. And then one holdover at this position group, one of only 10 scholarship guys back from last year, is Josh Gustav, who we have not seen in a long time. He's been a Buff for a number of years now, but he has not played since he got injured late in that 2021 season, missed all of last year, even missed this spring. He wasn't around. We've seen him in some workout videos this summer. I'm not sure this coaching staff even knows what he can do yet, but the Buffs are hoping that he can be part of that group and provide some depth. I mean, he's been a productive guy. He was having a good 2021 season before he was injured, so we'll see what he can do for this team. And then one other scholarship guy to mention, Taj McCoy, a true freshman coming in. He's probably a guy that might have to wait his turn, but he's a talented young freshman, and he's got a bright future. But I think that with some of those other guys, those veteran guys, he's going to have to wait his turn. It's a good group. It's an intriguing group. I do think, as we mentioned, and as many of you fans have pointed out to me, Jordan Dominic, Derek McClendon, they're going to be dominant guys. I think they lead this team at the pass rushing, whether it's defensive end, outside linebacker. Those 2 guys are going to be leading the way.